This is a CC Radio podcast.
Welcome to episode 255 of the Countdown Podcast. Today we're going to mount up, grab our swords and shields, and charge our way into your hearts. My name is Wayne. Did you like the inflection?
I did. And my name is Paul. Welcome to the podcast. We count down movies and sometimes television in order of awesomeness, so you don't have to. And today, as Wayne has very nicely alluded, we're doing the top 10 battle scenes in film of all time.
That's right.
Definitive list right here. You don't need to bother going anywhere else. Don't look online. Don't bother. We've got you covered right here, right now.
This is a tough-ass list, in my opinion, but that's me.
I think there's a few absolute standouts.
Yeah, certain ones you can't ignore.
We all know, if you're a long-term listener to the show, we all know how Wayne has struggled with war films in the past.
Yep, there's been controversy, there's been violence.
So we'll see whether Wayne's going to correct some wrongs today.
We shall indeed see that.
And a lot of listener feedback does allude to that, by the way.
Boy, did you guys have some words to say about that.
If you don't know what we're talking about, go back and check out the top 10 war films from, Way episode 80.
If you knew the episode number, I would absolutely be very impressed.
I want to say 86, but I don't think that's correct.
You're probably fucking right. That's impressive.
Don't quote me on that particular one. But of course, we've also got our recount segment where we're going to be revealing the results of our Oscar predictions, as well as some really poignant feedback from some listeners too. So stick around for that one. In fact, no need to stick around for it. It's going to happen right now. Here we go.
Who wants a recount? Who wants a recount? Who wants a recount? Who wants a recount?
This is the part of the show where we talk about things that you said to us. Paul, what's up?
That's way better than you've been doing lately. Well done.
Thanks,
write that
bitch.
down or some shit. You write everything else down.
Write this down, bitch. I'm pulling my dick. This is the dumbest shit anyone ever said in the history of, and I don't think I'm exaggerating here, time.
Welcome back to the soundboard.
Shut up, soundboard.
Let's kick it off then with the Oscars discussion, if we may.
How indeed did the Oscars go for you, Paulie?
Well, I have to say, it wasn't great for me in terms of my predictions.
I hope you remember what I said, because I fucking don't.
I did go back and do my research.
Okay, good.
But what did you think of that show overall, very quickly? Did you watch it / did you check it out?
I skipped through it after having possibly magicked it.
Sure. I think anyone cares about the Oscars.
No one cares about the Oscars.
In that way.
Yes. Now, who was the host? I can't remember. I saw it, but
There
I can't
was no
remember.
host.
No, there was an opening sort of like there were jokes.
Janelle
from
Monáe did a thing, and then Steve Martin and Chris
Steve
Rock.
Martin and Chris Rock. That's the thing. Okay, so I enjoyed some of those jokes. All right, didn't think it was too bad. But it's weird that there's no host and stuff now. Like,
I'll tell you what was weird.
What?
Here's my one criticism about the whole Oscars. Like, how without a host do we still have 4 hours 20 or 4:23 or whatever it was? But more importantly, why do we have someone to introduce the celebrities who are going to introduce or give the award?
Is that what happened?
Yeah. So it was like an introduction of an introduction. You know, it was ridiculous.
That's shit. That's
Yeah.
just to get people.
That's the Oscars commentary over in that regard. Obviously, Parasite took out a big surprise win.
That was huge.
It's huge in a number of ways. First of all, obviously, we both torpedoed on
No
our
way. We
picks
said
there.
there's no way that's going to happen.
We said 1917 all the way. You and
Yep.
I both were in terms of Best Director and Best Picture. So we were wrong.
I reckon Sam Mendes is a bit pissed. It's like, just because I'm white, you PC motherfuckers don't choose me.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
I'm just
Parasite's a very good film.
It's not as good as 1917, man.
Not for me personally.
Not for anyone, man.
No, that's not true.
It's
Lots
just
of people
fine.
love Parasite more
It's
than.
good. It's good.
I think you'll find.
It
I
may
think
have
you'll
political
find.
armor.
It does have that too. But look, I think it's great that the Academy
Yes.
finally has embraced world cinema.
Yeah.
I think that's the telling point here. I heard talk, I think it was on Super Movie Bros, which we have guested on, it should be out in very short order. It was talk that local libraries are now booked up 200 people deep for when Parasite gets released to hire it from the library in America.
That is very impressive.
That's-
I must
this
say.
is game changing, I want to say.
No, it is. It is. Imagine a whole horde of people reading subtitles. Like,
It just opens up the door.
absolutely. Because we've always hated dubs. We've always hated dubs, right?
Well, no.
No,
Oh, it dubs, yes. Sorry, I thought
Dubs,
you meant
yeah.
subtitles. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
subtitles great. Dubs,
Dubs
shit.
are
Always ass.
It always takes me out of it. So, yay. That's good for that. I am a little disappointed for 1917. I'm pleased for Parasite. And how good was the moment where Bong Joon-ho gets up there and he's like, that which is personal is best. And in the translation.
Oh, yeah.
And then he kind of very nicely moved past his translator, who I think is an actor in the film, and said, and that is from our hero, Martin Scorsese, that quote.
Wow.
Oh,
I didn't see
everybody stood up. Didn't hear about this?
No.
Everybody stood up, like impromptu, and gave him a standing ovation. And Marty looked teary.
Marty looked teary.
Marty was doing the whole thank you to Bong
Isn't
Joon-ho.
that nice? Isn't that
Such a
lovely?
nice moment. And even his speech in the Best Director said, if the Academy would let me, I would chainsaw this into 5 pieces and give a piece to everyone.
Oh, very
And
gracious.
That would come across as bullshit, I reckon, from some people, but from him it felt sincere.
I honestly think that because English is not his first language and he went to the trouble of learning that to say that or whatever, right? Means it
Yes.
does mean more.
And he said that one in translation, but the Scorsese bit was in English.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
And the fact that one of his opening lines was, I prepared for Best International Feature Film. That was where my preparation ended. So he thought we would win that and nothing else. So
he did win that, yes?
Oh yeah, won that. So it's the first film to ever win Best International Picture,
Yes.
foreign film to ever win, not counting English,
Best picture.
Best Picture. And it won Best International Feature, renamed from Best Foreign Film,
Okay.
and Best Director and Best Original Screenplay. So
Shit.
it won 4 major awards. Lots of films won 4 or 3 or 2. 4, 3, 2. But this is
What have I missed about this film? Honestly,
I don't know.
I thought it was good. That's
Yeah,
it.
I think you're in the minority, well, at least in terms of the Academy.
It's about as good as Green Book.
No.
That's what I reckon.
No.
No? You think it's better?
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's what
If I had a
think
different page open on the soundboard, you would be being spammed.
That's
at
the
this
level
point.
I think it's at.
How dare
They
you?
both
sir.
won Oscars. I don't think I'm far off. We'll
Well,
just say.
yes. Let's put it this way: 20 years from now, people will be talking about Parasite and what it did. 21 years after
because
Green Book,
it's-
no one's going to give a
Yeah,
shit.
because it's the first
it's going to be
the first one they did
It's
all
not
this
quite
stuff.
going to be Crash. I don't think it's as bad as Crash, but it's not much better.
All right. Okay. All right.
All right. Well, the results of our Oscars prediction, we did 8 categories because you forgot to do
That's
adapted
right,
screenplay,
yes.
which probably saved me in the end because we went exactly 4 for 8, both of us. It's a tie. No one gets a movie. There we are.
Okay.
Hurrah!
What did we
And-
get wrong? Anything particular? That,
Well, we
of
both
note?
got wrong picture, director.
Mm-hmm.
We both got wrong original screenplay as
Yep.
well.
Oh, okay.
And I'm forgetting what the other one we got wrong was. I got wrong adapted screenplay, but you didn't put a nomination. Is there in there?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, 5 of 8. 5 of 8. We got the acting categories right and cinematography.
Okay. Well,
So-
that's nice at least.
There we are.
Ah,
And
brilliant.
my overall score was 17 out of 24. I'm embarrassed.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Nah, it's terrible. You got to get over 20 to be in the running.
Oh, okay. High expectations.
Yeah,
All right.
terrible effort in that regard.
There you
All
go.
right, so that's the Oscars wrapped up for 2020, the 92nd Academy Awards, not the 93rd as I postulated
I
in
see.
the earlier episode. Over to an email here from the concerningly titled Wayne's Defender.
Oh, hello,
The email
Wayne's
is
Defender.
entitled, Thank you. Hi, Paul and Wayne. It's been over a year since I emailed and just wanted to say I'm still listening and enjoying your podcast.
What's up, WD?
Have seen a heap of movies that I otherwise wouldn't have watched based on your list. That's cool.
My man/woman. I don't know who you are.
That's exactly right. There is no identifying detail. Would love to hear a, quote, top 10 movies you'd least like to watch with your mum. End quote.
Oh, that's great. I've got about 7. And unfortunately, I watched most of those all day long. It was not. That's a great countdown.
That song's going to be used just based on Wayne's reaction. He doesn't get enthused about much. But
no.
that one
You
is
just,
definitely it.
it was a bad time.
I don't know if both your mothers are alive and well, but I think this could be a fun list and bring up some different movies. Absolutely, it could.
They are, but fortunately, she does not listen to the show.
And nor does my mum because she doesn't understand what podcasting
Me
is.
too. Mine too.
Also, I watched a movie on Netflix called Coherence the other day. Good film and worth a watch if you haven't seen it. I have seen it. It's not bad. It is
Yeah?
a beloved child of David Power, top-level patron to the show. So there's another
Coherence.
recommendation there. It's kind of a very small-budget sci-fi film with Xander from Buffy.
Oh my god! No wonder you watched it. All right.
Thanks for all the recommendations and laughs. Thank you, Wayne's Defender. That's a great topic, and I reckon we'll be using that one.
You rock. I love you.
You would with
I
that
just
name.
love you.
And lastly, then, to finish up this week's recap, which is a bit longer than normal for the Oscars reason, here is one of the greatest messages we've got. Last week, we had a wonderful message from Adelaide Spence. Here's another one of a similar ilk. This is from Kia Belcher. Hola, Wayne and Paul. I've been a listener and big fan of yours for the last 2 years and eagerly await your new episode when it drops every week. Anywho, on November 21st last year, after 41 long weeks of waiting and preparing, I finally went into labour with my first baby. For those who have had kids, let me reassure you, the pain was horrendous.
Oh my god.
I shouldn't laugh. It's not
No,
nice.
you women are so brave.
Yeah, it's amazing. So into hospital we went with all the bullshit Zen music ready to be played to try and reframe my mind and have the dream calm birth experience everyone speaks about. Well, That shit did nothing to calm or distract me. So after 6 hours of working hard, I was fed up and finally asked my partner to put on one of the countdown episodes.
My God!
So from that point, we listened to the top 10 most quotable movies, the top 10 horror comedies, the top 10 movies that taught us most about dating, my personal favorite, and then the top 10 movie characters we'd most like to have drinks with. I was later told that Wayne's laugh could be heard all the way down the hallway of the hospital, and that our daughter was born to Paul's soundboard of "Eat all the asses."
Oh, God.
Eat my ass! Eat all the
Yeah,
asses,
that's-
man.
That is so good. So thank you, boys, for helping this mama literally push through the pain and adding to the most incredible day of our lives. You guys rock and are my number one form of painkillers, aside from gas. Gas is pretty great. Keep up the great work, and thanks again for all the laughs over the years. And here's a photo of your newest little fan, which makes Kia's child, beautiful little baby girl,
Yeah.
the first of the next gen of the countdown.
Oh my God, Sam, imagine being born to my voice. Oh God, I'm sorry / amazed. This is
incredible.
I've never seen a post like this, and for the record, I love Kia too. And so it's like just I don't know. I've never seen anything like that. So
Between the last 2 weeks, those emails have sort of blown our minds, and we just want to thank everyone for sharing that with us and being brave enough to put that in the Facebook community and let us post about it or talk about it here on the show. We are blown away by the support you guys all give and girls give to the show, and are just amazed that something like that could have happened. Who would have imagined 5 years ago, almost when we started this show, that something like this would be happening
totally. And
right now?
By the way, if you're a girl who listens to me and still stays around, extra points. Okay, guys, I know we all think this like this, right? But for a girl, you're cool as shit if you're still around here. Let me tell you that.
There we go.
All right.
Thank you so much. That's the recap for this week. Then let's, on the other side of this music cue, get into this week's countdown. Top 10 battle scenes in film of all time.
That filter is very annoying.
Like your face!
Oh, good one. Well done. Excellent.
All right, it's pretty straightforward. We define battle scenes, though, as being larger than just a fight scene, right?
Yes, we did set this parameter,
Last week.
and it's very unfortunate because it made me shop out a couple of my choices. But I believe Paul said that a battle should consist of at least 20 combatants.
Yeah.
If not
10 on each side, or
10 on each side, or some variation.
4 on 20.
But
would be fine.
not everyone on one person.
No.
So not that
So I
Neo
ruled
scene
out-
in the Matrix, for example.
Yeah, and I also ruled out Kill Bill.
Kill Bill,
Volume 1,
absolutely, they can't be
1988.
because that's
Yep.
I do for the
To me,
record.
that's still a fight
it is
scene.
a battle, all right. It's just a lone battle. It's like a one-person
I
battle.
don't know, it just feel the same. We wanted to get to the big grandiose,
Yeah.
big sort of fights. And some of the feedback, because I didn't specify the parameters there, were a bit more intimate, but we've gone grandiose. We've gone huge.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Well, let me ask you this though, because that's sort of affected a couple of my choices. Maybe is it okay if it's a battle like an air and sea battle? Like, is it that's okay?
Sure.
That's all right.
Yeah.
So if it's against if it's
As
like
long as there's lots of combatants.
so
I think that's fine.
dogfight, for example.
Yep.
That could, okay, good.
Yep.
Good.
If Midway's on your list, I'm fucking stalling out of this
Well,
podcast.
it wasn't until now. No, sorry.
All right, Wayne, do you want to lead us away?
Yeah, man.
What's your number 10?
All right, so this is something that always got to me. It is from the movie Black Hawk Down. And
yeah.
it is the Battle of Mogadishu. Now, basically, the whole movie is kind of a battle because these, the troops, like the US troops, are going into Mogadishu in this town, and there's tons and tons of locals, but they're armed. And so but they're not very good at shooting and stuff, so it's just that. But there's a bit where the town is just completely uprising, and one of the helicopters gets downed, and this is, of course, a true story.
Yep. So
It
I have to
goes
go in
down.
to get the
Yeah, and they have
survivors.
to go in and get it, and that's right in the middle of the damn town. So they're just against this entire, I guess it's thousands of people, hundreds at least. That whole thing made me really one rectum clench butt cheek thing, the whole thing. Because apart from Eric Bana being the hero, at the time that was just unheard of, right? Because it was like a new Aussie actor that we didn't know.
And for the record, Wayne doesn't often clench his rectum. He likes it wide open.
It's like a train tunnel down there. But there was a bit where, because they're all trapped and they're all being set upon by all these people, when one guy was injured, they had to drag him to the back and give him a locked and loaded gun and say, sit there, and if anyone comes up, you have to nail them. And they eventually get overrun.
Very
Spoilers.
intense, yeah.
But it really, really got to me. So that's a battle. And then also the other guys coming in from the side as well.
Yeah, 100%. It was on a lot
It did not work
lot
out
of
well.
lists.
Did not go well.
I have to admit, I didn't love this film when I first saw it. I thought it kind of didn't give any characterization to a lot of the soldiers. A lot of your complaint with Dunkirk in much more recent years.
Yes, exactly.
So, but I it's one of those on my list of things to revisit because I think I didn't give it a fair shake.
One thing that haunted me was that when they finally overrun the helicopter with the soldiers, they actually grab one and sort of parade a dead soldier, and like I was like, "Fuck, that's harsh and dark." So yeah, it kind of got to me that.
Bit of Jack Ryan season 2 in that too.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah,
Which I've now finished, but yeah.
Oh, it's fucked up. Anyway, Battle of Mogadishu, Black Hawk Down.
Right, nice way to kick us off. My number 10 is the foreign entrant on my list. This is from Akira Kurosawa. It's his most expensive film ever made, and it's his last grandiose one. It's from Run.
Ron, yes.
Yeah, which is a story about what is he? I don't know if he's the emperor or whatever he is.
Yeah.
Who lets his sons go out and start to make a name for themselves, and of course they turn on him. And so this is the battle scene where one of the sons leads his army back to destroy his father's army and kill his father. It is gloriously shot with this incredible soundtrack and this amazing use of color to denote the different armies. It's not as violent as some of the other things on my list.
I actually found it quite violent because, like, when I was watching it, I was like, it's very fast and very fierce, right? And there's like everyone gets fucked up, and it's actually that's quite.
Yeah,
harsh.
it wipes out about half the cast in this particular scene.
No, but it's so relentless that it's quite hard. I actually find that quite hard to watch. So, yeah.
I think you'll find a lot of my list falls into that category of this is not good fun.
Oh, no, that's
there are
it.
one or two exceptions, but a battle is not meant to be fun. Like I
it's
think
not. Yeah, exactly.
we're
You're
past
not-
the days of hurrah! Isn't this great to be walking into war? No,
Well, you can't really do ironic violence like you can in a fight scene in a battle, because then I don't know if you can or you can't. I guess they do it in one, which might be in your thing. I'm not sure.
Yep, maybe.
But yeah, okay, all right, yeah, no, okay.
So I was pleased. People might have said, and some listeners did say, Seven Samurai fight. I mean, the difference between 1950, whatever it was, the Seven Samurai, and 1985 is Kurosawa has 30 more years, and the sensibility of the 80s is much more violent than it was in early cinema.
in Seven Samurai, where the dude does that scene where he cuts off that girl's head, and it just blood spurts up. I was fucking
it's pretty intense.
terrified. I was like, oh my fuck. So
But anyway, this one is more full on. It ends with the Lord who goes to try and kill himself with seppuku and doesn't even have his sword anymore. So
that's right. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Nice one. My number 9 is something that you will have a problem with, and many people may have a problem with, but it's something that I researched, went back and looked at, and decided, no, it's here. Avatar. Now, hang on a sec. Just chill for a second, all right?
What?
There is a fight between the cat people and their cool-looking flying dragon animals against the U.S. Army, and it happens everywhere. It happens mostly in the air. The U.S. Army have their big dropship-looking things, and all of the cat people, I forgot what they're actually called, but
Please keep calling them cat people.
Cat people, yeah. They are flying
Little
around
ass.
between them, yeah, and like using their more primitive weapons, but really fucking them up. Now, I remember seeing this in 3D for the first time when it was new back then, and being blown away. I love Avatar, by the way. I'll watch it again. I don't give a shit.
No.
Yeah, you may call it Pocahontas, but I'm saying that
Or Fern Gully.
Or Fern Gully, is that right? That's okay. It's
Or
a trope.
Dances with Wolves.
It is a little. No, it's. I don't know. Yeah, it is. But that's okay because it's entertaining. And this fight scene, the camera is following the work here is amazing. The dragons go through the
technical
middle
stuff,
of like helicopters and come out the other side. And it's like, holy shit, the camera follows them in. That is real cool. James Cameron killing it. I think that he's still great with his action.
Do you think James Cameron will kill Avatar 2?
Do you know what?
Kill it with Avatar 2?
Well, if he does, he might very well be the king of the world. Because, like, you come back after this long doing a thing that already worked, but in a different decade, right? And then you kill it. You'd have to come up with something new, and it has to be the right new thing. So what's his right new thing?
Yeah.
Don't know, man. That's
I-
all that.
It's not even this year, is it? It's next year, right? 2021.
Odds are against it, is what I'm saying. But
Been
what-
9 years? No, 10 years between, right?
Yeah. Literally
2010
decade.
was Avatar, right?
So, I mean, I wanted to do it. I would love to see him kill this.
Was it 2009? Whatever. It's amazing the gap between this, and he thinks he's just.
He wants to make lots of them, doesn't he?
Look, to be fair, I guess maybe he's earned his stripes in terms
He's
of being
most definitely in this
narcissistic.
fight.
But
Yeah. Oh, if I was him, I would fucking just shit on people's faces. I wouldn't do that. But I can see how this goes to his head because I'm like,
anybody else said that, everyone else is going, stop. I'm pretty sure any first time listener just went, stop.
I'm sorry, I wouldn't shit on anyone's head, okay? I'm just talking
Unless
about
I
how...
asked him.
And then it's like, well, you asked. So...
All right, well, that's a surprise, I have to admit. But maybe my number 9 is a surprise as well. I'm in a similar territory with it. I've gone with Avengers Endgame End Battle. Oh, okay. All right. And here's why. It's a comic book film, and it's never going to reach the harrowing, intense heights of some of the other films on my list. But it's the culmination of 23 films, I believe, 22, 23 films. And the moments in this battle are so epic.
It is absolutely mind-blowingly good. And that's...
On your left.
On your left.
Holy shit, that moment is perfect.
Oh, wait, you're thinking Endgame.
Yes.
Oh,
no, not Infinity War.
Oh, sorry. Okay, Endgame.
Yep.
That was because it was so huge. On your left was fantastic.
Infinity War is on my honorable mentions. Doesn't make my list.
Interesting.
Okay.
We'll talk about this later on.
Yeah,
But
clearly.
the best thing about that, this is not on my list, but I totally agree. Like, it's definitely, could have been. The absolute apex, like the best bit of this fight, and the best bit of the movie is fucking Captain America picking up Mjolnir. Okay?
That's a great moment.
That thing is clap-worthy in this day and age with this bunch of millennial motherfuckers in the cinema, all right?
Sorry if you're a millennial.
Motherfucker. They're all cheering in a cinema. That doesn't happen anymore. It did now,
that was a great moment. There's other bits that really work as
You
well.
like Captain America, don't you? You like the Captain America adjust his shield shit when he realizes I'm going to take
it's
on
me.
billions.
It's me versus all of them, and he doesn't flinch.
Nope. He's like, okay, let's go.
That bit's awesome, and then we get them all coming together to fight together, and the film does a pretty good job of showing them all getting a moment to shine here or there.
That's
or
the
whatever.
hardest thing, man. To try and sit there and put that. It's not even ensemble at this stage. It's just everyone.
Well, and the reason why it's 9 and not higher on the list is because there's no doubt about the end result of this fight, right? In the sense of...
Agreed.
Well, you knew that probably someone was going to die, but you weren't too worried about too many of them, right?
That's what you're there for.
So,
and in fact, but then the way that the Infinity War ended, it's almost like all the bets were off. But however, you knew they were coming back with this one.
at the end of the day, it's just row of heroes facing off against this far superior number. And it could have been Avengers, which is also on so the Battle of New York was also on my honorable mentions list.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so I shopped around those 3 battles, which one? But then in the end I went, well, this is the one that has the most emotional resonance. That's why it gets my number 9 spot.
You know what was cool about this, right? So in a common trope in battle movies, and this happened a lot in like Attack of the Clones and stuff like that, right?
Uh-oh.
I know, is that there's hordes and millions and whatever billions of people on, against the good guys, and then the way to defeat that many people is to shut down the mothership because they were all droids and they all just sat down, right?
How about what's Independence Day?
Independence Day, yeah, exactly, very much that thing, right? So this version of that, you have to somehow solve the problem of how do we defeat these millions of people when the odds are insurmountable? And Infinity War, Endgame, gives you Tony's snap. That's the thing. But you did not see it coming necessarily, and that's why it was so good. You know people are going to die. You want to know how or who.
Well, you want it to work within the world.
Yeah.
Right? Within the rules are established.
Exactly.
Yeah, it can't be too Deus Ex Machina.
If that happens, it's all shit. And they did it very well. So yes, good call.
All right, cool.
Nice one. My number, what am I up to now? 8? I want to say 8.
Yep.
Okay, this is an odd one, people, but I've always thought this. Enemy at the Gates.
Okay.
This is an old movie with Jude Law,
Ed Harris.
and
Ron Perlman.
It's about World War I, where it's Russian soldiers in, I guess, occupied. I'm not sure exactly where they are. Sorry, but they're
Battle of Stalingrad, isn't it?
It is Stalingrad. Yeah, it is Stalingrad. So the thing that is so weird or good, I guess, about this, and it's not pleasant, is that there's these hordes of like Russian soldiers just getting mowed down by the German troops, and they got.
Is this early in the film before the sniper?
It's literally like the first 10 minutes of the film.
So
right?
this is World War
One.
One,
Right? So when they finally get to the beach, whoever survives, they then get forced onto like go charge, and if you come back, we'll shoot you.
That's harsh.
That is, and also these guys didn't even have a gun each. They're like every second man gets a gun.
Oh, that's right.
And you get 5 rounds, right? And when that guy dies, you pick up the gun and then you start shooting. They are so ill-equipped, and their lives meant nothing. And that's it. They push them out. And there's actually the scene where they're running out, and some of them go, "Holy shit, we're set up on." Start running back, and their own generals are killing them. Just to like, no, you don't come back. You got to keep going. Bloody harsh, man.
I would say surprisingly bleak from you.
It is very bleak, but the thing is, it really got to me because I was sitting there going, "Holy shit, is that what happened?" Can you imagine? I just can't. So it's nuts. It's intense and shit, but it's the first 10 minutes of the film.
It's why battle scenes are so effective for me. You just touched on something there. Like, call me a coward. Fine. Like, I just think that moment you're standing there and like, I go over the top. Chances are I'm dead.
Oh, dude,
yet everyone gets up and goes.
You think yourself sometimes, you're right, they do. And it's like, but you think yourself sometimes, like, would it not be smarter to go over the top and just sort of fall over immediately? And I'm sure guys have done this. And then maybe hide among the bodies and I don't know. But that's such a coward's thing, right?
Yeah, I know.
But you know what? We think war is so shit that maybe it's like, well, no,
It just blows my mind. This is why I have such utmost respect for servicemen and women.
Absolutely.
Of any country. Like the fact that you take that on the chin and you do it anyway.
Yeah, that's the thing. But I'm very conscientious objector guy. Like, it's like, hang on, government. If I don't even agree with your policies, why am I dying for you? You know what I
that's
mean?
right. Why don't you get down here in the
Yeah,
trenches
you
with
come
us?
here, fuckface. Yeah, that. So anyway, yeah, good call.
All right. Well, my number 8 is of similar sort of harrowingness.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit dark. Yeah.
Most of my list is a little bit dark. Most,
we'll
with
play it off.
1 or 2 exceptions. This is from a film which I really loved. Not this year, not 2018. Outlaw King.
What's his name?
Chris Pine.
Chris Pine, yes.
Pine as Robert the Bruce. At the end of the film, it's the big battle versus the English, which might be the Battle of Stirling, if their version thereof. I'm not sure because it's overshadowed by something else. It might be on my list.
All good.
But for this sort of film, like I watched it again last night. It's about 10 minutes long, the battle. It's so intense. It's literally down in the mud with some really great special effects. There's a couple of scenes, like, for example, a horse rides through someone and you can't see the cut.
Yeah.
Like the blood spray, which is mostly CG, you can't tell it's CG.
Yeah.
It's so well combining, put together, and you feel like you're there. And sure, I think one of the good guys dies in a blink and you miss it moment, like, which I thought was also good, like, because that's the way it would really be.
Yeah, just be like
in a war film. We don't get a minute kind of sinking to your knees and music swelling. No, it's just like bam, spear through the gut, bam, the guy's dead.
I remember this movie being put, like, is that opening shot where it comes around the fight?
Big one shot. Yeah,
that is insane. I was like, whoever's doing this is trying
David
really
Mackenzie,
hard.
director of Hell or High Water. This film is phenomenal. I don't think it got the love it deserved because it was unfairly kind of written off as a mini Braveheart sequel.
Yes, and also it was a Netflix film.
Yes,
you know, so it doesn't get like
it doesn't get the kudos, as we have now established yet again. The Academy is not prepared to vote for Netflix films in anything significant other than maybe Best International Feature for Roma last year.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Is that what they have?
Well, Marriage Story got
Marriage
snubbed.
Story is snubbed?
Completely snubbed.
Yeah. Look, to be fair, if you're in a field of 19...
Other than Laura Dern.
Oh, cool. Yeah. All right. That's a good call.
It's brutal. The courses being speared on shit is done way better than arguably than in Braveheart.
Yeah.
But again, we've got 23 years of extra sort of material or technological advancements on which to do it.
With that very part scene, like just because of the horses. I'm like, you fucking bastards.
This film's incredible.
Yeah.
I love it. I think this battle is a great way to end it. It ends with the Bruce and the Prince of England, I guess he's maybe the king at that point given his dad's died, meeting on the battlefield, which I thought was absolute bollocks until I read about it. Apparently, not sure whether they met in the field, but he let him go. He did not kill him. That's a matter of historical fact.
Really?
Yeah, so...
That's a bit cool.
Yeah.
That's a bit cool. Okay. Outlaw King.
Better the enemy you know, especially when he's a fucking idiot, than someone else who could rise to power who might actually be a challenge. I guess that's the rationale behind it.
I heard a story that's why Saddam Hussein lasted as long as he did.
Right, okay.
So they knew who to watch.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's my 8.
All right, my number 7 is a favorite film of mine, and it is...
Pause. This is an important number in this countdown. Right, I just want you to duly acknowledge this moment.
I understand completely.
And I don't want you to fuck it up again.
Well, let me tell you something. One, I'm not pandering to anyone. All right? So fuck everyone. All right? I ain't no Paul Prezula trying to win a damn
the
fucking
moment where
election
the
here.
podcast went straight to hell.
No, not
when every listener went, well, fuck this guy.
When I say fuck you, I mean with love, and I mean I know you know what I'm talking about. All right?
Ballsy.
I'm
Stupid,
actually saying fuck Paul. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So my number 7.
If you listen carefully, you can hear the noise of beep, 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 backing up the truck.
I would call it backpedaling. Thank you.
Okay.
So my number 7 is in fact a beach in Normandy.
No.
The Edge of Tomorrow.
Oh, fuck.
That's where it's set. That's right. That's right. That's where this scene is set. I did that just to give Paul Rectum a bit of a clinch.
All these years later, he's learned nothing. Nothing.
Well, that's what got me. I'm talking about Edge of Tomorrow, or those things that actually is set in Normandy, as it happens.
It is, yeah.
And it is probably the first time. First of all, that actual scene where you find out what they're up against, because you don't see them up till then, right? And they're just so fast, and they take out so many dudes, and Tom Cruise is barely, like, his gun doesn't work and shit like that. And It is the coolest looking, like, all the soldiers have like mech suits.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what's cool. It's like, oh yeah, that's what I guess it would be like in the
It's
future.
very sort of Robotech / book version of Starship Troopers.
But then they've got shoulder mounted like fucking cannons and shit. And Emily Blunt is all cool and shit. She doesn't even use a gun. She uses fucking sword, right, to fuck these things up. And I'm like, this is the absolute balls. I reckon that there's so many things going on here so quickly. You actually requires repeat viewing, and I watched it.
Well, it's funny you say that. The reason this didn't hit my list, and I did consider it, and it probably should be an honorable mention, though I didn't write it there, I apologize.
Yeah.
Is because you see the same battle so many times, it all blurs for me.
Agree completely. Now, this is that's why I'm talking about this one opening fight scene.
Yep.
But to be fair, I liked them all, and yes, it's a very hard thing when you're showing someone the same thing over and over and over. You got to come in with a slightly new actor, But I love this one. Very absorbing.
Yeah, good pick. I'm right behind it. Well done, sir, and well played on me. My number 7 is a one-shot from Alfonso Cuarón
Of course.
in Children of Men.
Now, hang on a second,
The
asshole.
Battle of the Baby.
How many people on one side?
Heaps of people. It's like the resistance versus the
All right,
government
so we're not
forces.
talking about Clive Owen then. All right. Okay, so what puts Children of Men here for you?
Well, apart from the one-shottedness of it all,
Probably. I would actually go along
that's
with that.
why it's largely here at 7, higher than Outlaw King and the rest that I've had so far on my list. It's not as big a battle, but the stakes are pretty huge.
The stakes are huge, and it's a long, as in there's so
like
much
a
movement.
6-minute-ish shot.
It's impossible. If you look at the crap that he did, and the stuff that could have gone wrong, and probably did go wrong in many other takes, that
incredible.
is impressive.
And I also think this is maybe more than arguably any other battle on my list. The emotional payoff at the end is pretty special. So the baby is born. The first baby in, was it 20 or 21 years, is born. And it stops everyone, both sides, in their tracks.
Yes, I
and
remember
that is just like, whoa. That resonates in a way that nothing else on these. I mean, every other battle on this has a victor or a loser.
That's right.
This film just is a ceasefire.
That's a good point. Good point. Actually, that's actually unusual and good. Yeah, you're right. I can't argue against this. Children of Men is Children of Men, man.
Thanks, man.
Your number one date movie.
It's a high on my date movie.
High date movie.
And again, just to reiterate back there for you, Mina Harker, if your date doesn't like Children of Men, dump them.
That's right.
That's all the message was there.
Do you think, just a side note, that she didn't like it because it didn't put her in the mood? Any chance? Any chance? Doesn't matter to you. Doesn't matter to you.
I was at half-mast. I'm not sure what happened.
Oh, shit. Okay, sorry. Nice one, old man. My number 6 is, and I freely admit this pick is high like this due to nostalgia, it is the Battle of Hoth in Empire Strikes Back.
I had this on my list at 9 or 10, and I dumped it off in the end
It's-
purely because I was like,
I understand.
I haven't watched it in so long. Okay, what I'm mostly enthused about is the
Ad walkers.
Yes.
Dude, they were the best thing about it, but like, and don't get me wrong, a lot of people say Battle of Endor if you want to go with the
Yeah, we got to
trilogy,
listen to feedback
right?
about that. Yep. Nicholas Haskins especially loves the Ewoks.
I was just going to say, the Ewoks is what shuts that down. That's the only thing. But look, this one here, okay, I remember seeing this in the drive-in and just shitting my pants over how cool the idea of, so you've got a snow base, all right? And the thing that's coming to take out your generator are these big fucking gorilla-looking dinosaur mechanical things, right? And they're so big, they're like, 20 stories up or whatever.
It was so special for its time.
Oh, man. The bit that probably got me was that, well, okay, so they're shooting at them with the snow speeders, and the snow speeders oddly don't have ejector seats. Don't know what that's about. But they...
Don't they?
No, because everyone crashes and goes right to the floor. Luke went right to the floor.
Because I seem to remember the toy I had did have an ejector seat.
The Toya?
The toy I had. The toy version.
Oh, no, I'm
was-
sure the toy had one, but if they had one, they didn't fucking use it. Because Luke could have bailed out any time before he hit the floor, and he didn't. So who knows, right?
Okay,
Anyway,
yep.
but this is the cool thing,
Design
right?
flaw.
Yeah, I don't know. This is the cool thing. They end up taking out one of them by shooting a cable and wrapping it around its legs. Now, if that isn't the coolest fucking thing
How
ever...
many games have you played where you had to do that?
Dude, and it's so hard to do. And also, if you look at this, those snow speeders are going at a way too heavy clip to travel that slow to go around. Doesn't matter. It's cool.
Physics.
Oh, mate, it's the shit.
What is it good for?
But seeing them fly between the legs of the walkers was so exciting, man.
I agree. I think this... Good on you. Good on you for having this. And I shopped it out in the end. I think in the end for Avengers Endgame. I'm a little bit regretful. No, I'm not. I'm not.
No.
This is absolutely my high honorable mentions. 11, 12.
Just one little tiny thing. When Luke uses his grappling gun to fire up under the fucking thing, and then he goes zzz, and he zips up to it, uses his lightsaber to cut a hole in there, throws in what must be a nuclear bomb because there's no way a fucking grenade would do that, and then drops down. That is the coolest shit ever, man. You got upside of the fucking grappling hook. What's up? Anyway, that's me.
And it's also in snow. And if there's
Snow was cool.
well, obviously Star Wars, all the battles were in the stars, other than the lightsaber battle, the fights. But then there's another. I'm going to guess it's not on your list now. I reckon you've only gone one Star Wars film. Yeah. The Rogue One battle.
Rogue One's great.
Really warred on my list at the end, like at the bottom part of it, because it was so different in this balmy island kind of.
It was beautiful. It's actually beautiful. That was another contender for mine as well. Yeah, totally.
So I want to give that a huge shout out here. They're my two favorite battles. Yeah, I mean the battle above Endor is wonderful as well.
Oh, by the way,
the battle at the end of Star Wars. How good was that? Where we've got
Trench Run.
The trench run.
Yeah.
That's pretty special too.
You know, you were talking about the actual like scenes or whatever. Lucas has gone on record saying that the 3 movies of the original trilogy, he has actually focused on a different terrain. So the first one was like Tatooine is desert, and the second one was like snow. And the third one was Endor.
Forest.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool.
That's smart.
Yeah.
The guy knows how to frame a film, maybe
Definitely.
not how to write
Just
one.
can't write. Yeah, just can't write dialogue. That's all.
All right, cool. Very nice. My number 6 is a big popular one online, and quite a few listeners mentioned it as well. I'm talking about the battle for Germania, or of Germania, at the start of Gladiator.
Oh, really? Yes. No, I agree. It's not on my list, but it's a good one.
And I went back and watched this in 4K, ultra high def.
There it is.
Tick on the bingo
You can only
scores.
imagine how it must have been in that 4K high def.
It's pretty great. And what makes this so special is the scope, I think, of it. And I'm not saying it's the best, because there's obviously 5 higher on my list, but the fact that we get the Romans who start firing their flame arrows at the Germanic tribes, and then we get Russell Crowe's sort of cavalry off in the woods who are going to charge them from behind.
Yep.
And then they fire the big trebuchet, is that how you say the word?
I think it's called that trebuchet, yeah.
Yeah, at them with the flaming balls of fire, and then the tribe's like, shit, we got to move. And then it becomes this sort of down in the mud fight, and then Russell Crowe, so Maximus's troops come storming in from behind. It's got a lot of moving parts. There's a couple of epic Ridley Scott wide shots, which look
it looked amazing,
magnificent. Obviously, best picture winner in 2000. So that's why this film absolutely stunned me.
Because I remember this, and I've always had this issue, right? Like, so he was a General Maximus, so he was a general, so he was leading his troops, or his end of the troops, right? And then, was he riding a horse up and down the line doing his speech? Was he doing that? Or was he just doing it from there?
He just stops, because there's not that many of them. It looks like there's about, 50 or maybe 100 cavalry.
Yeah, that speech was the shit.
And he's just like, I could tell you that it says, if you find yourself riding
that's right,
in the green fields with the sun on your face, not worry, because you'll be in Elysium.
That's right. You're dead already.
Yeah,
boom,
basically.
that's it. That was the cool shit. And that was really, really good. I agree with that.
It's
That's
just the moving parts of this. And it gets a little bit, the reason it dropped down to 6 for me, and though it's in a lot of top 10 lists online, it's like the top 3, is because it gets over-reliant on super slow-mo blurred motion towards when it gets down to the pitch battles of, and I'm like, that doesn't feel cinematic to me.
No.
It's trying to be like, oh, you're in the chaos of it, but it kind of took me out of it a bit.
That's very Richard Donner-y. Like,
yeah,
remember Lethal Weapon? He used to blur that in slow mo.
Yes.
I was like, what is that?
Yeah, it looked terrible.
I don't know why.
That's the worst parts of the Lethal Weapon film.
Yeah.
Other than Lethal Weapon 3, which is a shit show.
It is. Yeah. It is distinctive. I will say that, but I don't know about it. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Nice one. My number 5 is the one I thought you were going to pick, and it's the Avengers Attack on New York. So that's the 2012 Avengers.
Oh, not even Infinity War.
Not even Infinity War.
No, I think this is better than Infinity War.
Yeah, because this one is like it starts with Tony Stark getting smacked out of his building because Loki bashes him out. And then his fucking Iron Man suit comes down and like fucking catch up. That's all cool. But then when it goes to like waves and waves of the Chitauri things coming down, and I don't know what.
What are they? 5, 6 Avengers, whatever it is.
And you don't think to yourself that like, because my biggest issue with these things is that how do you make Hawkeye and what's Scarlett Johansson?
Black Widow.
How are these guys doing anything even remotely interesting after you've got fucking like the Hulk throwing people through buildings and Iron Man, you know? So it's like, so these guys always do she does something and kicks a dude and puts a fucking like an explosive on his asshole.
I thought that was great.
It was cool that they did
with
it.
one of the best hero shots of group hero shots of all time.
And that's honestly, that is the bomb. Although I will say this, Avengers 2 at the very beginning, even though that's a less
where it does the running through the
slow-mo?
forest?
Yeah, that was better. I
It
don't
was
know.
better, but then the rest of the film lets it down.
Yes, it does. If you're going shot for shot, I like that one. But although this one, there's nothing wrong with this one. It's so good. But yeah, I love that Avengers movie, and I love.
It's got a lot of great character moments, and I get it. And here's why it didn't hit my list: is rather than being about chaos about it, it's more about great character moments.
Absolutely.
And that didn't work for me in a top 10 battle scenes as well as it might. But I respect the choice, and I think it's a good one. So.
That bit where the Hulk smashes Thor at the end,
One of the funniest bits.
biggest laughs.
Yeah, absolutely. If we ever did the top 10 funniest moments in film, that'll make my list.
And it was so unexpected.
Exactly.
And it's like
the best comedy is unexpected, but hits you right in the heart.
That stuck the landing as well, and that's why. Because I've always said this. I reckon you go to superhero movies to laugh with the character. I think it's where you do it.
All right, well, from your...
You know, you have my permission to leave that in.
If you're wondering why we're laughing, it's because we just cut out a huge section of bad jokes.
No, it was bad. It was bad. But offensive jokes, I'm talking.
Anyway, I can't even put it at the end of the episode. Talk to us on Patreon if you want to hear them. My number 5 is a relatively recent film, a film which I thought was very, very good after its first 45 minutes.
Oh. Whoa.
Which sets up characters and the like, but it does take a long time to get where it's going. Boy, when it gets there, does it arrive with a bang. I'm talking about Hacksaw Ridge, the Battle of Okinawa.
Okay. I saw this on the list, of a lot of people's lists. I knew it would be on yours. Tell me about this battle.
It's brutal AF. So these American soldiers basically have to climb up this cliff face.
Yep.
Once they're up there, they do have a foothold to start with. They've got to advance beyond it, but the Japanese hold the other side. And both sides equally brutal. Flamethrowers, arms and legs being blown off left, right, and center. People being immolated.
That's just tough, man.
Like characters who you've spent that first 45 or an hour with are just killed
Like
at the
flies.
drop of a dime. And it was all with Mel Gibson directed this film, and I know his name is not royalty in
I
Hollywood
actually think
anymore.
he's back. Like, he's still doing Daddy's Home and shit like that now.
He directs it with this. Let's be brutal. Let's be honest to what it was like, because these are the accounts from here. And it all follows this character who's a pacifist and he refuses to carry guns. Who's out there as a medic, and that's Desmond Doss, a real person, played by Andrew Garfield, wonderfully well, nominated for Academy Award. I think this film was nominated for Best Picture as well. Didn't win.
Is it? Okay, yeah.
Didn't win anything, I don't think, of consequence anyway. But geez, these battle scenes, particularly this first one, it's jaw-droppingly powerful because the film had been so muted and so sort of character-based.
That's right. I actually remember it now. I remember how it was just this like story, which wasn't bad. It was just a story.
Yeah, like
and then it became this holy
just
shit.
punches you right in the gut and it's like, wake up, motherfucker, because you're in the war now. That's
yeah.
why it's my number 5.
Not bad. I totally get it. By the way, did you see We Were Soldiers?
I have seen We Were Soldiers. Watched some of the battle scenes again to remind myself, but the last scene didn't carry me.
It's not the same, but the Mel Gibson is there, and he has to you have to napalm or you have to bomb these.
He didn't
danger
direct that
close.
though. He just starred in it, right?
I don't.
Randall
know.
Wallace, I think, directed.
Oh
that
yeah,
film.
okay.
Yep.
But that was also, it wasn't as bad as that. Oh, as good as that rather. So yeah, nice one. All right. My number 4 is one of the ones I assume will just be on your list because it's one of the. In fact, we're in at number 4 now, so you're going to start getting the ones that you kind of.
I would say my top 3 are absolute essentials, and if they're not on your list, then you have fucking missed the boat.
Good.
My 4 you can leave off. That's all right. I can live with that.
Well, I reckon it's here. So this is my number 4 is the movie 300.
Oh, my number 4 is the movie 300.
Oh yeah. So now we're talking about the scene in 300, which is based on the Battle of Thermopylae.
Yep.
Where a small force of vastly outnumbered Spartans attempted to hold off this invading Persian army, which looks like about 4 billion people. Right?
It's 1 million.
Is it
1 million to 300?
Okay,
Hence the title of the
it
film.
really looks like it. Now, obviously, it's a movie.
Arrows will blot out the sun.
Right, exactly. Now, I know that I don't know the historical accuracy of the fighting style.
There's nothing historically accurate about it.
No,
It's
there
all
wasn't.
based on Frank Miller's graphic novel.
Well, what was cool was that
Only that a vast inferior number of Spartans held this pass against the Persian army. That's the only launching point.
Exactly. And if you look at the execution of this, right? So the cool part is that they found a bottleneck that they can basically hold, and the Persians have to all come through that. So what was cool was that they just basically got charged by the Persians, and they just stood their ground. And what their technique, which may or may not work in real life, is that they would hold them with the shields. They would just clash, and the Spartans would go, okay, and at a command, they'd all push them back and spear them. Then when they fell down, they kept on doing that over and over and over, and then the cool bit happened.
There's a lot of cool bits in this movie.
There's a lot of cool bits, right? But when finally they've fallen through, there's this, I guess it's an old boy style pan right? But nothing like Old Boy because
Pan was sort of dolly across.
Is it a dolly?
Yeah,
Pan
and
is where you
zooming
swivel
in and
isn't it?
out.
Yeah.
Pan is when you're swiveling around.
That's right. So you've got like the pan of him, of Gerard Butler, basically taking out like there's slow mo, one shot, like smash zoom, slow mo, close up,
that's
rack outs, this sort of thing. But it looks jaw dropping, and that is the coolest bit in the movie, I reckon. Probably because you're like, holy shit, look at this happening here. I just couldn't believe it. I didn't
There's a
think
lot
about that.
You know, people want to shit on Zack Snyder a lot, but
This is his best work.
This is the kind of film, this and Dawn of the Dead,
I don't know
particularly
what
this
it
film,
did. Yeah.
where his sensibility combines perfectly with the source material.
Mm.
You know, say what you will about Batman vs Superman, which I fucking hate, but
Mm.
in this film it works, right?
It works incredibly well because
And-
it's fancy-ish.
Yes, exactly. And that shot you talked about, or when they're pushing the Persians off that silhouetted shot where they're pushing them off the cliff, which is part of the poster.
Oh, I know, and that's part of the comic as well.
There's again, that's a recreation
Yeah.
of the comic. Then there's a lot of those shots in here. Frank Miller's sort of vision coming to life on screen.
You're right, actually. Because Frank Miller's even with the Dark Knight Returns and stuff like that, he draws a certain way. This actually did emulate that, and it works.
I don't know the right words here.
Yeah.
But Frank Miller, because he writes virtually everything in black and white. There's very little color in his books.
All the Sin Cities are black and white. Yeah.
Right, Sin City, but even was 300 black and white?
That's a good question.
I can't remember. Anyway, regardless,
Yeah, it might have been, yeah,
it's very
I'm sure.
contrast heavy. That's the way my non-artist mind will.
Yeah.
So it's very absolute blacks and whites and whatever else. And
Unfortunately, for him, it doesn't transfer. Have you seen the shot?
yeah. Everyone who's seen the show knows that Frank
the
Miller is
question?
never allowed.
The question. Sorry.
No, it's called The Spirit.
The Spirit. Sorry.
No one's ever allowed to direct, or let Frank Miller direct by himself ever again.
No way.
That's
No
the
way.
rule
He
of
needs
thumb.
Robert Rodriguez.
Or someone to hold him in check.
Yeah.
So yeah, great choice. Obviously, 100% agree. What an amazing movie and an amazing scene in particular.
It just stands on its own. I've never seen anything like that since, to be honest with you.
All right, number 3.
My number 3 actually is a little like that, though, because you said that, but not the same. But there's I love this one for different reasons, and it gets ahead for different reasons.
Well, here's the 3 I think must be on this list. So if you have messed up,
I know that this one that I'm about to drop is not on your list. I'm
Did
sure.
you miss one of my top 3?
I'm sure I have.
You are, sir. Given we're reintroducing the vote after the Facebook
That's
community.
fine. That's fine.
Woo-wee.
We'll see. But hear me out about my number 3. Okay, it is the movie Troy. And it is the beach landing. Now, hang on a second,
I
Paul.
wouldn't be upset with that if not for the fact that it means you missed one of my top 3.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, you
honestly.
will shortly, you idiot.
All right. We'll see how it goes.
Go
but,
on, tell us about Troy.
All right, now look, this is pure cool factor, okay? What's happening is Brad Pitt is landing on the beach with his, I'm not sure what his army is called, but they're taking out the Greeks. They're Trojans, I guess.
The Battle of Troy, right?
Yeah, so they're Trojans, all right? So his Trojan army is trying to take out the Greeks, right? So they're coming on ships, and he's giving them the, beyond those walls is immortality. It's yours. Take it. He's doing all that shit. When they finally go down, they are getting shot at by hordes of defending Greeks, right? With like flaming arrows and shit, right? This is what's cool. He has a tactic where he gets a bunch of his dudes everyone's getting shot, don't get me wrong. And he's like, come up on the beach, and they all gather and bunch and form a tortoise shell right in front of like all the people shooting at them. So they ting, 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 ting. It's bouncing off mostly their shields. And then he does this thing where they move forward, and on his command, he says, now, and the top of the tortoiseshell breaks apart, and an archer comes out and takes out whoever's shooting at them. And he keeps doing that for a little while, and then they break up. It is so cool. That is the only way to defend against that shit, and I thought it was pimp juice. So, and then as if that wasn't enough, Brad Pitt goes on to take on 30 dudes by himself, and his little, like, sword, that little sword they have with the shield. Is it called? It's called a glaive? Oh, okay. The sword, the delivery.
Sorry if I am.
Oh no! Look, it sounds cool. But the delivery of his blows are so fast and fierce that they're severing limbs, and he's doing like 30 guys at a time. I'm like, this is fucking pimped out. Great scene, great scene. Always been a favorite of mine. One guy talking.
Again, I wouldn't have a problem with this if not for the fact it's so hard.
Well, like I said, I watched all of these scenes that I'm talking about. I watched all of them a couple times. It took a fucking long time.
Yeah, there was a lot of prep for this list. We took it very, very
But
seriously.
that one, I was like, that's just so cool. So,
Which makes me wonder then about where this one is going to fall. My number 3 is from the definitive take on the Battle of the Scotsmen versus the English. It's the Battle of Stirling Bridge in Braveheart.
No.
What?
That's the one that's not on there. I told you I had a problem with the horses. Alright? That's it. I understand it's good and it was good at the time, but you know what?
Every so often there's a choice in this show that makes me wonder whether or not we have a future.
Wait a minute. So you're talking about Braveheart, right?
Yeah.
You think
This is
this is better than the Chris Pine one?
the Outlaw King. Sorry, Outlaw King.
Outlaw
yes.
King.
I do, and I'll tell you
Even
why.
though it's much older? All right,
This
all right,
film
all right.
changed the way battle scenes were done. This is
Mm-hmm.
the first time we saw such gritty realism in a battle scene. A sword and sword, not sorcery, sword,
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
swinging swords thing.
swinging
Yeah.
swords, and all the rest of that shit. Though that horses bit, damn, the editing in this film
It was,
was
look,
pretty kick out. I mean, to the point where it's like you can see sort of the cut, like it's almost jarring in a way. Like they made a choice where, as this real thing descends, they'll
Yeah,
cut
you-
the last
you'll
second,
feel it,
and
yeah.
bam, it hits you.
yeah, no, it's hard.
Or they
It's
cut
hard.
frames or whatever it was. It was.
I think they lost a frame right there just to make sure it gets you in the head.
Yeah. So the fact that this is well, it's not relatively realistic. Apparently, historians have debunked most of what takes place in this
Yeah.
in this particular film.
Oh, even the history of the actual story.
Oh yeah,
is-
forget about
yeah.
him getting a romance with the French queen or princess or whatever the fuck
You don't
she
get me
was.
wrong. I'm glad they put that in there.
Ridiculous. But in terms of rousing battle spectacle, where obviously you weren't worried about Braveheart at this particular point in the film, but all his offsiders, like which of them are going to die? What's going to happen here? Oh my god, shit. The tension that was involved. You felt like you were there in amongst the combatants, and this is one of the greatest sword and sorcery battles. Sword battles, sorry.
Medieval,
Sword
whatever,
sandals
yeah.
battles, that's what I'm looking for here. Ever put to film. I only have one better. If we were including TV, here's a good point to mention this. Battle of the Bastards would be here.
Oh,
as
Battle
well.
of the Bastards. If we were putting TV, and you know what? Yeah, even looking at that, going, I wonder if we should ever mix them. I guess it would be too tough. But yeah,
But there's
Battle
an
of
argument
Bastards.
here.
Battle of Bastards.
And some of
would
the
be on
listener
this
feedback
list.
just came back with that because I didn't specify film. It said Battle of Bastards, Battle of Bastards, Battle
Yeah.
of Bastards.
No,
Absolutely.
no doubt. No doubt at all.
Incredible scene.
That shit is. I'll remember that over.
And
this
I put
one.
that about the same level as this one in
Yeah,
Braveheart.
I'll go along with that. Look, Braveheart was the bomb, no doubt.
Given it was 1995 again.
I liked the whole movie, I think, and like I said, it's the horses. But like, I just don't get me wrong. I understand it's obviously here, and I'm sure everyone will agree with you.
Jeez,
No
I
doubt.
hope we have the same top two then. Wayne, what is your number two?
There's gonna be like some weird shit here, but
Uh-oh.
here's my number two is, and this is
Uh-oh.
because this whole movie is, in my opinion, about the whole movie. There's little breaks here and there, but the whole fucking movie. Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers.
No, that's my number two.
Okay,
But I'm specifically going the Battle of Helm's Deep or Horn.
Helm's Deep is my thing.
Yeah,
all right,
man.
because
40 minutes, that battle.
dude, that's why the whole movie
is-
felt like a movie.
The whole film is not a battle because there's a lot of trees walking really slowly doing
Oh, is
fuck
this
all.
the Trees movie?
Yes.
Okay, good point.
But,
I guess,
but it is a 40-minute-ish.
yeah. So for me, I remember this 40 minutes of
We do have the
relentless
same
battle.
top two, thank God.
Well, what was cool though was that this is another little bit of a strategy thing. Like
Hornberg, yeah.
yeah, there's a tactical option. Like this, the whole basic like of stopping them from taking over the castle is this thick wall that reduces the strength of these hordes of people. And basically, you've got this rabble comparatively. Not rabble. There's probably quite a few armies.
Humans and elves.
Humans and
coming together,
elves, and they actually
With
are
a dwarf.
defending against the castle. But it shows you the curse and the blessing of having like a bottleneck to go into, because once they take out the wall, they've got at their leisure they can figure out how to take out a wall.
How
Jane,
about
you're defending? You can't do anything.
There are
until they
moments
attack.
in this battle scene which are just absolutely iconic. Like, yes, like talking about the bottleneck and raining death down with arrows and whatever, and then they get the big ladders that they're sort of pushing up against the wall, and the orcs start to mount the wall, and
Yeah.
all that's pretty cool. And then the little side, they're trying to get through the side gate up that pathway,
Yes.
and
Battering
Aragorn
ram
and
and-
Gimli jump in among them and start doing
Toss a dwarf.
toss a dwarf,
Yes.
start doing damage. But then when the wall blows, when they do actually, like last, he's shooting
Yes.
the arrows into him, but he still manages to fall in there and light the bombs.
Yeah.
And that wall explodes. Holy fucking shit, that is awesome.
Because fucking Aragorn and that were on the wall part that exploded.
Yeah,
they
and
actually ended up
survived.
somehow
Yeah,
survived.
yeah.
But yeah,
No, that's fine. That's
no,
fine.
that's fine. That's fine. You can't take him out that way.
Yeah. But as far as, again, this is the best sword and sandal battle ever. And
Because there's nothing more epic, really, in terms of that
God.
sword and sandal, like
This
medieval type shit. It's
2000
so big, the scale.
2002, and the weather digital effects pretty solidly hold up. Like, that's pretty impressive that here we are 18 years later and we're still talking about it in such reverence.
Do you know what's cool?
There are so many battle scenes in this trilogy, but this is the one I will 100% agree stands out because we don't rely upon, dead ghosts and whatever to come and help fight as well.
That's right. And you know what though? I saw a doco where Peter Jackson was talking about how he did this, and basically it's a computer program which randomly assigns every soldier in its like animation
To do something.
to do something, and it doesn't know until they clash what's going to happen.
As opposed to like individual rows doing exactly the same fucking
Exactly.
thing. Yeah.
None of so this is just go, and every single all of the millions of soldiers have its own AI or whatever, right? And so cool.
Then it all ends, of course, with Gandalf leading the charge of I can't even say that, Rohim, whatever they are.
Yeah, Roram, I don't know.
Yeah. down that slope in the trailer sort of moment where his white horse and his white sort of gown
With the
clashes with the poles pointing up at
That's
them.
what that was cool.
Damn,
No,
with
no,
the sun
this is the
shining in their
balls.
eyes, and so they're all like, not holding their spears in the right direction. It's a brilliant moment.
Let me ask you something, because here's the thing that this is my love-hate with Lord of the Rings. Now, the first one was mind-blowing, right? The second one, I liked it, but I remember being fatigued by that 40-minute fight and also the trees.
The trees for TV.
I didn't actually hate the trees or anything.
Ish 40 minutes. Like
Yeah.
I'm sort of.
The point is, it seemed to me like at least half the movie was that battle. That's what it seemed like to me. It probably wasn't, right?
No, 'cause that film's 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, exactly. And then Return of the King has its own problems that, like, just the ending basically is my problem. But did you find that this was, like, did you like the second one?
Yeah, I
You
mean,
did?
it's my least favorite.
Does it go 1, 2,
of
3?
the three? It's 1, 3, 2 for me,
1, 3, 2.
which is very
So
unusual.
this is your least favorite of the three.
But the battle is the best. If not for this end sort of battle,
Would have been way down.
this film
Like,
would have suffered for me
suffered,
for the
yeah.
second sequel. Sorry, second in a trilogy.
I guess that was the feature of it. To me, Attack of the Clones feels like that. Like it's a whole thing as a battle as well. Nah, I know you don't
Please,
like. No
never,
one likes Attack of
ever
the Clones.
compare Attack
I'm
of
the
the
only
Clones
guy who likes it.
and the Two Towers ever again on this podcast.
I own it on
Or in my
DVD.
All right, there we are. Let's give a quick recap, Wayne, and then our number ones, which better be shared because otherwise there will be
Hey, we'll see.
headphones throwing.
We'll see. All right, my number 10 was Black Hawk Down, Battle of Mogadishu. Number 9, Avatar, Sweet Air Fight Battle. Number 8, Enemy at the Gates, that first 10 minutes, Gangster. Number 7, Edge of Tomorrow, the Normandy beach attack. The Battle of Hoth was my number 6. 5, The Avengers Attack on New York. 4, Persians getting all busted up and shit.
Yep, Battle of Thermopylae,
that's right.
300.
Troy, The Beach Landing. And number 2 was Helm's Deep, the Lord of the Rings.
Right, before we give you
Two
number one,
towers.
let me rank through
Yes,
mine.
you go for
My
yours.
number 10 was from Run, from the Kurosawa period film. Avengers Endgame at 9, of course, the final battle there. Outlaw King, the Battle of Stirling, I think, at the end of the film. Children of Men's one-shot battle between the resistance and the government before the baby is born. Gladiators, Battle of Germania to start the film. Hacksaw Ridge's Battle of Okinawa, the first of those. From 300, the Battle of Thermopylae at number 4. And number 3, the Battle of Stirling, unbelievably absent from Wayne's list.
Completely reasonable.
And number 2, the Battle of Helm's Deep from the Two Towers, the Lord of the Rings film. There we are. Here we are. I've banked everything on this being the same.
Of course, it's the same, man.
Number 1. Go on. Here's your moment to shine, Wayne. Here's your moment to correct.
My number 1 is the Battle of Omaha Beach from Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah!
Okay. All right. Okay. Now listen up here, people. I did not do this. Because
Everyone
you
is
asked me
happy
to, all right?
with you right now. Don't
That's
blow
fine.
it. Don't
I'm
blow
not
it.
blowing
Don't
it. I'm
blow
not
it.
blowing it. I'm saying that I thought about this long and hard, and I also did see all of these battles side by side, and this one, it actually just Country Mile is the most chilling,
Absolutely.
most disturbed I've ever been about a war scene. It holds nothing back. You feel everyone's fear, and even on film, it was so hard to watch those people get mowed down again. I think
Dude holding his arm.
the dude holding his arm is still in my head, right? The dude with the helmet, where he gets hit in the helmet, gets
Whoa,
off,
you're lucky.
boom, and he gets taken out. Such a shame. And there's one scene where they're in the water as they're approaching, right? And then one guy sort of falls, another guy goes to help him. He gets hit right in the head, and you see his eye, just the light go out of his eyes as he drifts away. Really, really tough to watch, and I don't like watching this scene.
And then the bomb goes off next to Miller and Tom Hanks, and his ears start ringing.
Yes,
and it changes. That's where you see the arm dude and whatever else. But yeah, and then they progress slowly up the beach, and it just feels. And so the reports are from at the time the elderly veterans who are still alive from it said this is as close as it was. Nothing could be put better than this on film. It's not right, not as bad as it was, but it's as close as you could humanly get, and it'd still be allowed to be made. That's
Oh, God, could you imagine having? And that's the thing about the scene. You're there in that scene.
Yep.
All right, and you are just horrified.
and you haven't like a frequent complaint for me, like even with the Battle of Mogadishu in Black Hawk Down is I didn't get to know these characters, but you're not meant to know these characters yet. They are you recognize the faces, some of the actors in it, whatever. But it's you're just one of them. You're meant to be one of the rank and file.
That's right.
Who's pushing up this beach, and your chances of surviving are fucking slim.
And you see these people you don't know, like we don't for the movie, going down, and it's still just as jarring because these are all these people you don't know, and it could be you.
And it's
Could
such a
easily be
baptism
you.
of fire that when the squad makes it out and they are tasked with getting back Private Ryan, now you feel like you're in with them. It's such a genius way.
Totally.
And I award with having both battle scenes on this list. Like I almost put in low 8, 7, 8, 9. The end battle
end
scene,
one? Yeah,
where
with
it's
the
a
tank
small
going,
surviving group of these against this huge platoon of German soldiers with tanks who are rolling against them. Because that scene's amazing as well. Maybe not as impressive as the first, but because now you know the characters when they die. Oh my
Means
God, it
much more.
hurts.
Oh
Yeah.
God, forget about it. And I don't
Mellish, Private Mellish.
know. Yes,
Or Corporal Mellish.
that was
whatever
that was
still one of the most
easily.
harrowing death scenes of
Absolutely.
all time.
absolutely no. Yeah, and this is the thing. You're saying the best battle scene. This is the best, but also the one I'm not going to watch over and over.
I can't wait to watch it again. I didn't even need. So I'm talking about this stuff from memory. That's how much of an impact it was.
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't need to rewatch.
No, I
it again.
remember moments.
It was instantly my number one.
I didn't like it watching it again. I mean, I did, but I didn't. You know what I mean? That thing. So yeah, absolutely. Okay.
There we
okay.
are. That's a great number one. Thank God we had the same number 1 and 2. You'll be judging us on the basis of the rest of our list. That's our best 10 battle scenes in film. And just run down them real quick because we are running a little long.
Cool.
Because we had a lot to talk about today.
No problem. Last of the Mohicans.
Yeah, good.
That bit.
Battle on the English column. Yep.
Absolutely. There's a little cool bit in Red Dawn that I quite liked.
The
That was
grill-
bad.
Yep.
There's a battle scene in this is weird Battleship.
Oh,
where they
come
do-
on.
I'm not saying that it's like I thought it was cool. There's actually so the sea battle in Master and Commander was better, but this one I remember going, oh, that was actually not too bad. I'm not saying it's a real one. I just wanted to mention it. There you go.
Okay.
All right, go ahead. You go.
I mentioned Avengers Infinity War, and
Mm-hmm.
Empire Strikes Back, Battle of Hoth. The other two I've got here, 13 Assassins, Takashi Miike film, which is
Yes.
a kind of a remake of / reboot, not reboot, that's the wrong word. Seven Samurai, very similar. Patriot, Mel Gibson again.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yep.
The-
I think I was
aim
rolling
small,
memories
be
back
small.
when he used to be able to make a good film.
Yep.
And Glory, the final battle, the Battle of Fort Wagner,
That was harsh.
where shit tons of
cannon at the
people
end.
died. Yeah. Ugh.
Bad one. Bad
That's
one.
it. That's our honorable mentions. That's our list for today. We wrap up every episode, though, with what you thought of the topic at hand in a segment that we call the Pop 10.
Talk about. Pop 10. Talk about. Pop 10.
Kicking off this week's Pop 10 from Twitter with Super Movie Brothers Dave, who I've vaguely mentioned before, but we're going to be on this show for the 200th episode or thereabouts.
Boom.
Yeah, so do check that one out. A lot of fun. Wayne and I had a bit of a game show happening.
Mm-hmm.
Won't spoil it. Just go over and check it out. Saving Private Ryan, D-Day Invasion, Edge of Tomorrow, Final Battle, Die and Repeat, and Empire Strikes Back, Escaping Hoth from
Oh.
Dave. 3 choices.
Nice one.
Thank you, Dave. From Gidget Van LaRue, from the Retro Cinema Podcast, another good friend to the show. The Zulu 1964 film, The Final Attack. It's pretty good.
I've seen that.
Rewatched it.
Yeah, it's harsh.
Very good.
Michael Caine.
A little bit more small scale, Big Trouble in Little China, battle between the Chang Sing and Wing Kong.
I was going to put that in here, then I watched it and I was like, those guys are flying in the air, cling, and then they land. But still, cool.
Enemy at the gates, you have one bullet, the other guy has the gun battle. Which
That's
is exactly
the
what you
shit.
mentioned there. Dan is not the problem. Had top 3 battle scenes as the final space battle on Star Wars A New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
Almost the entirety of We Were Soldiers. And Braveheart, pick a battle.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7, Omaha Beach, Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, funny who did that?
That's from Dan is not the problem.
Nice
Obviously
one.
a long-term
Nice
for the
one.
show. That's
Nice one,
reference to
fellas.
Wayne's choice of where Saving Private Ryan fell in the best war films of all time. Philip Motaz said Helicopter Attack, Apocalypse Now. Of course, Fly the Valkyries.
Dun, 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 dun. Yep,
Mhm.
cool.
Death Star 1 from Star Wars. And the rap battle ending 8 Mile.
I wish I thought to put that in.
Duty, another good mate from Shaken Not Nerd. Helm's Balls Deep.
Balls
number
Deep,
3.
nice.
Number 2, Nick and Danny versus Sanford and Hot Fuzz. For God's sake, Duty. Hot Fuzz.
Which one was Sanford?
Well, it's the town.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's actually not a bad pick. I really enjoyed that scene. But
Best battle scenes of all time, Wayne.
that's the problem. You know what? I had to shop out the Civil War airport scene because there wasn't enough combatants.
Ooh, wasn't there 20?
There was 6 by 6.
Very close. Really? Only 6 by 6?
Yeah, it was just
All right. And number 1, Battle Above Endor, the Death Star. Number 2, Space Battle. Best Space Battle, period, says Duty. Grey Wolf Raventhorn said Braveheart. The battle scenes completely redefined how battle scenes were shot, and the horses were so realistic the film was attacked by animal rights activists.
Which movie?
Braveheart. Exactly the reason you didn't have on your list.
Yeah, that's
was
it.
all fake, motherfucker.
I didn't tech it. I know it was fake. It's so harsh, man. Obviously, they didn't fucking spear horses.
Practical Seth said, love this movie, i.e. Braveheart, when it came out. Saw it 3 times in the theatre. Bought it the day it came out on video. My only problem with it is continuity. You'll see in the battle scenes, William is charged with an axe, then a sword, then a banana cream pie, etc.
Can't say I picked it up. No.
All right. From B Dizzle from the We Watch the Thing podcast on the Great Aussie Podcast, avoiding Helm's Deep because it seems unfair.
Yeah.
The skeleton battle in Jason versus the Argonauts, 2, Seven Samurai battling the bandits, and number 1, Braveheart.
Nice. I would like to eat a banana cream pie now. I don't know why. I just got a little craving for it. Sorry. Thank you.
We would love to leave eat any cream pie.
I mean, I should have expected it. That's fine.
So is the podcast. Joey said the Battle of Hoth, Empire Strikes Back. There it is again. Number 2, Humanity's Last Stand at Area 51, Independence Day.
Oh. I loved that. The fucking F-18s against fucking spaceships. That's cool.
Number 1, Helm's Deep from the Two Towers. Dina Marie from Twisted Philly Podcast.
Dina.
One of our faves, absolutely agreed. Helm's Deep. Chris Yini, one of the top level patrons of the show, said Last Battle in Zulu, Battle of the Bulge.
Which one's that one?
Midway?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Not the recent one.
Not the recent, no.
But it could have been from something else too. And number 1, D-Day in Saving Private Ryan, of course. Brad from the Cinema Guys said the Battle of Helm's Deep is the top, but then therefore going with the others. Kingdom of Heaven, first mention of that. Ridley Scott film.
I never saw that one.
Huge, big battle. The rest of the film was pretty average, but from all
That's
reports,
what I heard, yeah.
very good one. John Wick 3, final confrontation fight?
See, that wouldn't meet your little criteria.
No.
So yes.
And
there we go.
well, no, there was more than 20 combatants. There's definitely more than 20 dudes.
But it's all against one. You said no.
Yeah, true. That wouldn't meet
So,
my
yeah.
criteria. And then Anchorman. Not sure.
I thought, I toyed with the idea of putting that on.
Joe from Two Peas on a Podcast totally agree with Anchorman, by the way. So, and gave credit to your Brick having a trident. Mario in the bar, good friend on Twitter, said 300, Saving Private Ryan, and we were soldiers. Mike Putnam, first time contributor to the show, said number 3, Battle of the Bastards, Game of Thrones again.
Yeah,
without me.
if we have.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Number 2, Lord of the Rings 2000, number 1, Endgame on your left.
Boom.
Thomas Casper said, I'm going to be the smallest minority here, but Anubis' fleet in Stargate SG-1 versus Earth. Don't know why I love it, but that's awesome. Saving Private Ryan Open is a masterpiece. And finally, the end of Akira.
Oh, that's good with the satellite and everything. Yeah, that's the shit.
Recast Past podcast on the Good Aussie podcast. Savings, Ryan's Privates. There you go.
There you go.
The Two Towers and Edge of Tomorrow. Totally underrated film. And let's wrap it up heading on over to the Facebook listening community. Smiley Salmani said, number 3, Star Wars 4 Ender Star Battle. It's like episode 4.
Okay.
Saving Private Ryan End Battle in the town of Rommel, especially that knife scene. So he's going there rather than the D-Day. Number 1, Children of Men, the birth battle.
Yep.
Very nice. Matt Rochelle said Braveheart, Battle of Stirling, Saving Private Ryan D-Day, which is clearly the winner here. Saving Private Ryan, I think we have nailed 1 and 2.
Yeah.
By the listeners
No
as well.
doubt. No doubt.
Lord of the Rings, Return of the Kings, Pelennor Fields, Giant Elephants.
Oh, those are cool.
Asked, what will Wayne have at number 7? Etienne Filion Saver said Airport Battle, Captain America Civil War, Battle of Helm's Deep 2000, D-Day, Saving Private Ryan. John Hillslander said the final battle scene from Excalibur, maybe because of the music.
If you look at that again, just look at it again, bro. Look at it again, because it's actually not.
And again.
It's remembered very well, but it is actually not very good.
Ooh, damn.
Well, I mean, just have a look at it. Have a good look at it.
Other way around for his 2 and 1, Normandy Invasion, and number 2 from Saving Private Ryan, number 1, Helm's Deep.
Okay.
Geordie Davidson had the Battle for the Village, 7 Samurai, 1954.
Yeah.
The Battle of New York, number 2.
Boom.
And the Battle of Endor in the Return of the Jedi. Last 2 then, Nicholas Haskins, no particular order, but Battle of Stirling Bridge again, Opening Battle of Gladiator, and then just to pick something different, how about X-Men versus the Sentinels and X-Men Days of Future Past?
Cool. If we're going X-Men, I would have done the Nightcrawler thing, but again, all on one. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. And finally, from David Powell, the top level patrons of the show, John Carter.
I haven't seen that one.
Hugely underrated movie, says
Oh,
David.
good. I'd like to go see
And this scene where JC takes on the Horde single-handed almost is awesome. So there you are. That's a single, so wouldn't have made our list.
I will check that out hearing that. Good.
Immortals, fuck the haters. I love Tarsim's films. This one may be style over substance, but it's cool. And lastly, Red Cliff, which is from John Woo.
What's that?
It is maybe the longest battle scene ever, according to David. It gets better and better as it goes along. Choreography and production design are off the chain. It's a sort of period Chinese battle scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
John Woo.
I have seen that film.
I've not seen it.
Been a long time, however. Thank you for that, David. And that is everyone. Thanks to so much to all of you. We couldn't possibly get through all the feedback for this topic, which was massive.
Yes, absolutely.
Title of my sex tape. And
Okay, have it.
just to get that one in there for Wayne. Wayne, how do our listeners get back to us and let us know their feedback on the show or indeed contribute to the list at hand?
You go Google the Countdown Podcast and you'll get all our shit. But also, send us an email at thecountdownpodcast@gmail.com. Sorry.
Not email, Gmail.
Email, gmail.com. Yes.
We are on Twitter at the Countdown PC. You can like and follow the show on podbean.com and check out the Facebook listening community. Link is in the show notes.
Boom.
All right. That is it for today's episode 255, the Countdown Movie and TV Reviews. Wayne, what's happening next week for episode 256?
Well, next week is just awesome, people. It's just the best topic ever. Top 10 movie gadgets.
Oh, God.
I love the shit out of talking about movie gadgets.
Not weapons. We've done that one.
No,
So
gadgets.
Can't be a weapon.
Yes.
Okay.
So, I'm sure Paul will also get confused about that one. But, like, it's...
Yes, it's always Paul getting
yes,
confused.
confused. It's Paul. Let's just go with that. And
You
yeah.
can't handle the truth.
Suck on it. So, yeah, top 10 movie gadgets. I'm looking forward to this one. Definitely.
All right, there we go. Looking forward to next week's show. Thank you so much again for listening, for getting involved, for being a part of the countdown.
You all rock.
My name is Paul.
My name is Wayne.
And this has been the soundboard while we're on the You All Rock.
Shit house. All right.
We'll catch you next week.
Yeah.
The Top 10 War... No!